So thank you everyone for coming to join this learning lunch where we're going to explore together the art of mastering self-care for remote working. So the intention of this workshop is quite simple. I really wanted to be able to give a place to practice and to try, and for you to also explore new techniques that you can actually use at home. So I wanted it to be very practical and pragmatic for you. So it's going to be somewhat of a, there's going to be a part interaction and a part practice, so you're going to kind of get your hands dirty in this. So maybe for a few people that don't know me, I'll start by introducing myself. So I am a leadership and agile coach at Palo IT. I joined just in the beginning of the year, but I have been coaching and being an agile coach for quite some time now. My passion is really around human behavior, about understanding our mind, our patterns, how we interact with one another, and especially building up our mental resilience and how we navigate with all the how could I say, the uncertainties, the challenges that we face in our lives. And I love to use the body to be able to do that. So we're going to explore a little bit of that today. So in terms of just a little bit of, I guess you could say, etiquette for the next hour together, please don't hesitate if you have any question to ask me some question on the chat. We're quite a few. But you can also unmute yourselves. It'd be really great during the exercises if you could put on your videos, because I can monitor you and see if you're maybe doing the exercises well. So those are a little bit of some yeah, I guess you could say housekeeping rules. This is a safe space, so do feel free if you have any question. There's no wrong questions. There's no stupid questions. I'm kind of here to answer anything for you. Any questions so far before I jump into it? No, I see head noddings, which is great. The others, can't really see you. There's quite a few that are, if you're camera shy, please don't mind us. Right. All right. So in order to kind of kickstart, I wanted to take, just want to make sure I'm on the right screen. Let's just take a minute to arrive. So what do I mean by a minute to arrive is just, I mean, you've probably either just ate, your belly's full, or just got off a call for a meeting and you've been in meetings all day long. So I just want you just to take a few deep breaths so you can just sit straight on your chair. Just take the time to kind of place yourself. You just take a few deep breaths here to gently arrive to this session, bringing your full presence, bringing yourself here, thanking yourself also for taking the time to care for you. And even if you want, since most of you are on mute, you can even, you know, let out a sigh. Just, you know, you're here. You're going to be in this session for the next hour, and it's going to be fun. All right. So now that we've taken that moment to arrive, I wanted to, so why you're here, right? You're here because there's something about the talk that inspired you. I'd like to take a quick poll, actually, because there were 3 topics that I had mentioned in the description, where it was either you felt you find yourself, you know, working long hours, you're having a hard time disconnecting from work, either you're really having eye fatigue or even headaches. So I just would like to poll, see which of these statements are really more reflective for you right now and resonate most with you right now. There has been some issue with the poll, so there's going to be 2 questions. Ignore the last one. Just look at the first one. Okay, so I'll be launching the poll right now. Does everyone see it?
Yeah.
All right. So just focus on the first question and choose which one resonates the most with you right now with your current situation. That's interesting. Oh, you can't. So ignore it. Just do one for the last one and then do submit, because if not, I don't see your responses. I think you'll have 2 questions. You have to make sure to submit at the end. Sorry for that technical glitch. Have you been able to submit your answers? Oddly enough, I don't see them.
I have.
You have? Okay. But I don't see them, so that's kind of useless. All right, let's do, now that technology is failing me today, let's try something a little bit old school. So by raise of thumb, right, you guys know this, you can either use the Zoom one or your actual thumb. I'll go through each questions and I'll ask you to kind of, so do you find yourself working long hours and having a hard time disconnecting from work? So I have 1 thumb, 2, 3. Oh, Cedric, please mute yourself. Yeah. So there's 5 or 6 people that are feeling that right now. All right. How about the eyes tired? Is that everyone? There's a couple of people. Okay. And how about do you feel that you're getting more frequent headaches and having less energy? All right. So the reason why I asked this poll, thank you so much, by the way. The reason why I asked this poll was to just know how to prioritize my my afternoon or my hour with you guys, to make sure that if, let's say, I don't get to finish all of them, you at least get the exercises that have the most value for you in the beginning. So we're going to start off with the one with boundaries. That seemed like something that was very, that was resonating with most of you. So sorry, I'm just going to, I'm juggling a couple of screens here, so I'm not used to this. Thank you for being patient with me. So you've probably noticed that it's been difficult, you know, being able to set your home office boundaries, especially since sometimes your space is actually in the middle of your living space, right? You might have a room set up, but it's not always the case, right? How many of you actually have a home office set up with a closed door? Okay, just a few people. Who has a home office in the middle of everywhere, in the middle of the space? Yeah, quite a few, right? It's not easy, right? So even on the weekend, you still see your work stuff, right? It's not very, very healthy, and we have a tendency to kind of, how could I say, go back into that space, and it's hard to kind of shift ourselves from mental headspace. So what I'm going to propose for you is a quick exercise of visualization. So why visualization? Well, visualization is actually quite, there's numerous studies that have proven that these types of practices help with your brain's perspective. It also helps with motor control, memory, and also even boosting confidence. Now, a lot of athletes use this, high-performing athletes use this. Nothing actually is stopping us from being able to use it in our daily lives, right? So what I'm going to propose for you today, and then the next coming exercise, is to create a bubble. right? Around your office. Now, you're probably looking at me and saying, what are you talking about? A bubble? Why? You know, might be a little bit crazy, but trust me, it really, really works. So the idea is to be able to visualize this space, the defining of this space. And we're going to try it together. Don't you worry. But it creates, and this is kind of like a visual boundary that creates and separates the work from your living space, right? If you can see, this is actually my actual home office. You can actually even see the same the same image. That's my actual home office, and it's in the middle of everything. And it's been hard for me to kind of disconnect, even for lunch or during weekends. My office is always there. So in doing this visualization, you allow yourself to kind of help shift your brain of going in and out of this work bubble, right? So before I continue babbling on, you won't know what I'm talking about until you experience it, right? So are you all ready to try drawing out and visualizing your office bubble? Can I get some thumbs? Yeah? All right. So I'll stop sharing my screen because you don't need to see this. Oops. Right. So I'll ask you to step away from your desk. You're probably sitting right now, right? I'll ask you to actually get up. Step away. Move behind your chair. I can see a couple of you. Yeah, the rest, you can turn on your cameras as well, just so I can see you. It'd be really great. Now, what I'll ask you to do is just kind of shake it off. Shake all the work or anything, just kind of, we're gonna try to shift our mind space and our head space just by moving our body a little bit, right? We're gonna get some energy into it. So really, you're just kind of, you can rub your hands, you can even, you know, that song of Taylor Swift, Shake It Off, just shake it. Doesn't really matter, no one's looking, you're at home, right? And you just wanna shake it off, right? So the intention why I'm asking you to do this shaking is just to kind of help shift your mind space, right? Now we're gonna use our tool, which is our hand, right? This is gonna be our drawing tool, right? We're talking about visualization. So everything is somewhat imaginary, but trust me, it works. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use our hand and we're gonna start going around our workspace and creating somewhat of a bubble, right? And you can go around your desk, like if you remember that image that I had shown you, it was a 2D version, right? But imagine doing it all around your desk. So if your desk is against the wall, it could be against from the wall all the way down to the floor, right? So really take the time right now to go around your desk with your tool, which is your hand, and kind of draw a circle, right? All the way on top, really creating a closed bubble around your desk, right? Just use your hand and create this imaginary bubble. Oh, that goes all the way to the ground, all the way to the top. So I should see big movements, everyone kind of creating their own bubble. And while you're doing that, I encourage you to voice out loud, right? That this is my workspace, right? And you can voice it out. Like there's no one else around you, so you know you won't look crazy. This is my workspace, right? This is my workspace. Here I will be focused, and here work will stay, right? So around your space, around the office, you're really creating yourself this bubble, and you can voice out loud, this is my workspace. Here I will be focused, and here work will stay. Now, you can take a few seconds and look back at your bubble and kind of see if there's some areas that you missed. Did you go all the way to the ground at certain spaces or not? And if you've missed some spots, you can just go patch it up. And then go in front of your chair, right? You're essentially going to be in front, standing in front of your bubble that's now closed, right? All of the work is inside of your bubble, right? Work is inside of your bubble. Now what you can do is go back to the tool. You can even, if you want, you can even touch your bubble, see how big it is, right? And then you can, where you're in front of your seat, right? You're in front of your seat, so this is where you want to have a doorway. So you can just kind of like go through and use your hand to kind of open up the bubble. Step in the bubble, and you can sit down at your chair. You can even close the bubble behind you as if it were a zipper in a tent, or you can seal it up with your hands as you wish, right? I see someone patting, that also works if it's Velcro. You can imagine it as you want, right? And then what's interesting, so now you're sitting back into your bubble of work, right? You're sitting back into your bubble of work. Now what you can start doing is that every time you step out, so let's say you're taking a break, you can say, just for now, I'm leaving work, and you step out. You can even open, if you want, open the bubble to step out. And what's really useful about this type of visualization, it helps create that mental boundary of I'm leaving my head or that headspace inside of that bubble, right? And then you'll be able to walk around the house. And I mean, this might be the first time you've ever heard of this type of exploration or this type of experiment. What I really want you to do is to kind of explore with it, right? You can play with it. But it's really to be able to use your space and use visualization in order to help set your boundaries, help you set these healthy boundaries. Because I could tell you so many times, like, oh, well, you should maybe put some timers, you can do this. There's so many things that you could do. But I find that being able to kind of visualize that bubble has helped me tremendously during circuit breaker, because I was stuck at home alone with work and I needed to disconnect from it, right? So this bubble is something that you can create and play with. Sometimes it will last a couple of days, other times you'll feel that it might be depleting. You can always redo it, reseal it up, and you can explore with it. Some people also put like tape on the ground to kind of say this, I'm at work, I'm not at work. If you have a closed space, you can have like a note on your door. So there's different ways you can explore, but my whole invitation here is to be able to invite you to use your space to be able to create yourself this bubble, this mental bubble that you could leave anytime you want, right? I would just love to hear a little bit about, now that we've done this exercise, I'd love to hear your thoughts about this, this exercise. This is the part where you can unmute, you can share.
So is this something that you do every day when you sit down and get up?
So I kind of set it up. So kind of like this time I'll set my bubble. And then after that, I kind of, every day I don't need to set up the bubble. Once it's set up, I end up kind of like nourishing it by entering and exiting with an intention. So let's say I'm leaving on break. I'm now, leaving work behind me just for now. Using those words really help to, how could I say, accentuate the behavior, right? It's kind of like you're declaring, they're actual declarations, and it really helps you embody that declaration by voicing it out loud, right? And I mean, sometimes I don't actually take care and I kind of like go in and out of it. And then sometimes I feel kind of like heavy and it's like, oh, and then keep on thinking about work. And it's like, okay, maybe I have to redo my bubble again. So you kind of play around with it. Anyone else? I'd love to hear if you have any other thoughts.
Yeah, for me, my workspace is on my sofa, so it's very hard to actually. Even if I put the bubble, I'm like, I still need to sit on it to watch TV or do something else, you know. So
well,
I cannot really.
Actually, in that case, maybe what would really help you, since you can't really use space, maybe you could be just, you could use the declarations, those kind of voice, like right before, let's say you start work. Right now I'm focusing on work, you know, and you can just voice it out loud. And you know, maybe you could say at the end of the day, it's like, or right now this is break time, work is over. You know, I will put that aside. And you use those types of declarations in order to help you shift your mind. That could be an option since you can't use your space, right? How about anyone else? Anyone else have any questions or thoughts? Did it feel weird for any of you? I see heads, yes. Totally normal. Totally normal to be weirded out by all of this.
Rupesh here at this side.
Yes.
So what for me, I'm quite lucky. I got another room which is not used, and my table is like beside the wall. So until I go and sit there, I don't see its office. That is,
okay.
I need to take a break. I just get out from that room, and that I feel like I'm not in office.
Yeah, in that case, that's great. That's great. So you actually, like, I use the bubble because it was the thing, and then I know a couple of people also that have been struggling with it because it is in their own space. But since you actually have a doorway, you don't have to manufacture one, right? So by creating the bubble, I was manufacturing a doorway. Since you actually have a doorway, you can still use that doorway using those same declarations, those same intentions. So let's say when you leave the room, you could just say, I'm leaving work in this room, right? So
I had the challenge. So I put kind of alarm at 11 a.m. and at 4 p.m. alarm should ring. It's time to break. I just get out of the room.
Okay, that works. That really works. Everyone has, and I mean, I think you start, the more you start exploring with this, you find something that works for you, right? This was really more of an invitation, a suggestion of something that is probably not, how could I say, that common, but is also very powerful and useful. So breaks do work, being able to kind of like shut off, but for those who have been having difficulty in order to shift their mind, even though they have an office in their own room, you can use declarations, as I had mentioned, to really help you shift your mind, or you can try to use your space in a different way, or visualization in order to help you with that mind shift. Any other questions, comments, observations? No? Awesome. So the next thing I wanted to do is, so one of the other topics I had was around, you know, headaches and around really straining the eyes and the brain. When we work, we have a tendency to overuse the right side of our brain, which is really the logical, the very rational, the very analytic side of our brain. And sometimes it becomes very, very heavy. And the exercise that I'm going to be showing you is one that helps you balance out both hemispheres of the brain. Now, first of all, you know, and that exercise is actually done through breath. Can everyone, I'll just share my screen so that you see what I'm talking about. Can anyone see this? Right. So as I had mentioned, the right side of the brain is the one that's very much known for that logical and very rational, and the left is very much more creative. And the exercise I'm going to use with you is a breathing exercise. And why breath? Well, it's really important because it's actually our source of life, right? It's our source of vitality. It helps reduce blood pressure. It helps also activate, especially this type, any intentional breath actually helps activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which the parasympathetic nervous system is a huge term that essentially means that you're tapping into the calm side of yourself. So you have, you know, you either have, your brain goes in a, if you're stressed, it goes in a fight or flight state, where actually all the blood is constricted to your vital organs, and you start becoming tunnel vision, and you have much less perspective on life in general. You don't see a lot of options. You're very reactive. So what we want to do when we start feeling that type of stress, and that can also generate a lot of headaches, what we want to do is to be able to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the contra, like the balance that's on the other side. And this nervous system actually helps heal you, and it helps take care of you. It helps you give perspective. It's the one, normally, you know, it's activated when you start yawning, when you start sighing out of relief. These are all different things that will tell you that the parasympathetic nervous system is triggered, right? The breathing exercise I will explore with you today is called Nadi Shodhana. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that well, but it's essentially the alternate nostril breath. This comes from the yoga tradition. It is a practice that's over 5,000 years old, and what's really interesting is that science is proving what 5,000 years have proven. So what's really great about this exercise is that it helps evenly oxygenate both sides of the brain, because each nostril is actually related to an alternate side of the brain. So the right is related to the left, and the left is related to the right. You can even, if you're curious, if you check in during the day, you can see if you're breathing from the right or the left, and you'll see what brain is working at that time. It's kind of funny. I'm geeking out here, but it's really fascinating. So what's interesting is that this exercise, if you start inhalation from the left, it actually has more of a calming effect. And if you start inhalation from the right, it has a tendency to stimulate, right? So to give you energy, to kind of like boost you up. Now, what is the exercise in itself? So we'll be breathing in from a nostril, exhaling from another, and inhaling from that other nostril. And that's one cycle, and we're going to be doing that cycle over and over again. So you're probably looking at me as like, how can I follow? Don't worry. I will guide you through it, so you only have to listen to my voice. It can be a little bit confusing. So before we go into it, just to let you know the posture in itself, it's going to be normally, depends on your comfort, but the traditional ways with the two fingers, so index and major finger of your right hand on your forehead. You use your left to press on the right, you use your thumb to press on the right nostril, and you use your ring finger to press on the left, right? So I'll try not to get you mixed up with the left and right. Can't guarantee anything, but so yes, so what we'll be doing is we're going to kind of be alternating, opening and closing each side, right? So before we actually get into it, I'll just invite you to again sit in your seat. Make sure that your back is straight. Take a few deep breaths here. So you want your back straight. You can even close your eyes. Making sure your spine is straight, your heart open. And you can gently take your right hand, bring your right hand, your index and your middle finger to your forehead. To the next exhale, you'll exhale all of your breath. And at that exhale, you'll close the right nostril with your thumb. And you'll inhale from the left, holding the breath, closing the left, opening the right, and exhaling through the nose. You'll then inhale from the right, hold the breath, close the right, open the left, and exhale through the left. You'll inhale through the left, hold your breath, close the left, open the right, and exhale. Slowly inhale through the right, close the right, open the left, and exhale. Inhale through the left, close the left, open the right, and exhale through the right. I'm going to inhale through the right, close the right, open the left, and exhale through the left. Inhale through the left, close the left, open the right, and exhale through the right. We're going to be going on our last cycle, so we'll inhale from the right, closing the right, opening the left, and gently exhaling all of the air out of the right, out of the left. You can keep your eyes closed here and gently bring your hands back down. And take a few big, deep breaths. And just notice. Notice how it feels to be in your body right now, if there's any difference. Notice the texture of your breath. Is it shorter, longer? You can gently start moving your toes, your fingers. You can bring, still keeping your eyes closed, you can gently bring your hands over your eyes, cupping them. And you can gently open your eyes underneath your hands, welcoming the light, coming slowly back to your surroundings through sound. Welcoming the light into your eyes and coming back to the group. All right. How was that? I'd love to get some of your thoughts and experiences on that exercise.
After the exercise, I feel like breaths are like longer.
Your breaths are longer after the exercise, yeah. Yeah. That definitely is a common occurrence. And the more breath we take in, the more actually oxygen goes to our brain. What else did anyone notice? So someone in the chat mentioned that had a little, yeah, sometimes it's hard to breathe through the nostrils, true. Yeah, what's great is that sometimes it actually helps air out, to be honest. It helps kind of balance it out. But yeah, totally normal. And how do you feel? Do you feel any calmer? Do you feel after that exercise?
I feel more relaxing because while concentrating on the breathing, like we forgot everything else.
Yes. Yes, that's actually the whole point of meditation. It gives the mind a task,
Agree.
and everything else will melt away. So yeah, that's great. There's someone in the chat, Aaron said, my forehead brain feels a lot more relaxed and calm. That's great. Well, that's exactly the intent of it. So, I mean, this is an exercise that you can reuse anytime. Of course, it's a little bit difficult if you're new to this. You kind of need guidance. There's quite a lot of guided exercises like this that do exist. So you can always go on Spotify or even on YouTube. They have some that can guide you through the exercise. If you want, at the end, the people that have registered, I can actually send you an email with some of the links and the details of the exercises that could be useful for you. All right. Great. Any other questions or comments thus far? All right. Well, we're going to move on. Yes?
Sorry, Isaac here. I'm wondering how frequent should we like making this exercise?
So normally, you mean the cycles in itself, like how many rounds, or the exercise in itself?
Yeah, both the frequency.
So I mean, normally what you want is you could have a variant. Normally, I like to do a shorter one, so maybe around 6 to 8 cycles. That comes out to maybe around 15 minutes. What I did with you was maybe around 5 to 10 minutes. So if you want, you can actually do longer than that. But if it's a new practice for you, I would start with more of the shorter and more frequent. Because any new practices that you come in, you really want to start working with the consistency more than the duration, right? So if you want to give it a try, it's really great early in the morning when you just wake up, still on an empty stomach. You can do that exercise. It's really great to start off the day. So you can do maybe 8 cycles of that, which is about a 15-minute, and it's really a great way to start your day. And you can do that every single day in the morning. It's really, really, really good. Or you could use it also in any moments where you feel that you're really tense. You can just relax into this type of breath. So it's very versatile. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, cool. Anyone else? Wonderful. So we'll go on to the last, one of the last exercises I had for you, which was one around giving your eyes a break. So we're going to talk about ocular release. So There's two sides of it. One where it's the actual eyeballs, and also the second exercise that I'll be working on is the whole musculature around the eyes and around the head. So this will be really good for you for headaches as well. This is a great resource. So why is it important to take care of your eyes? Well, it's when we're looking at screens too long, I mean, the damage is real. It could actually go into sleep disorders. You can have eye strain, gives you headaches, dry eyes, you can even have blurred vision. We all know, you know, these are some of the issues. But I want to give you some very concrete examples to how to be able to do it. So again, since I'm in the practical side of things, we're going to jump into the exercise right away. So I'll just ask if you have glasses, I'll invite you to take them off. If you absolutely need to see me, I'll just do a demo first. And then after that, you can take them off. I'll guide you through it. So essentially what we'll be doing is that we're going to be first doing an eye exercise. So we'll be working with the eyeballs. What you want to do is really sit straight. Really have the back long. You could imagine kind of like a string from your whole vertebrae bringing you up, and you want to make sure that your head is facing forward, but is still, right? We're only going to be moving the eyes, right? So once you're set up in this posture, you're just going to bring your eyes all the way down to the ground without moving your head. And what's really important here through this exercise is that we keep a continuous breath. As I mentioned, that breathing is life, right? It's something that helps us release, it helps us unwind. We're going to keep what we call a continuous breath, where the inhale and the exhale will be continuous. There will be no pause. And we'll do it through the mouth. So this is kind of what it looks like. If this makes you uncomfortable with your screen, you can close it. I'll be making tons of noise so you can hear me. This is what we call connected breath. And what's interesting about this type of breath is really helps us release energy, right? So if I come back to the exercise, head straight, eyes, we're going to look down, and we're going to focus on our breath, inhaling and exhaling through the mouth in a continuous loop. So it'll look like this. Now you'll gently move your eyes to the right side, and you'll continue breathing. And what's interesting here is that you can also notice that sometimes in looking on this side of the eyes without moving your head can also generate some emotions, right? The eyes hold a lot of trust. And this is where you can feel a lot of suspicion. So you have micro muscles that sometimes tense up in the eyes. And by doing this type of exercise, you can really help release them through that circular breath. If you want, you can even add on a sigh. We're still looking on the right side. And then we can move to the left side, still keeping our head straight. Looking at it right at the left side. Keeping our breath. We often tend to forget to breathe. And all the way to the top. All right. You can gently bring your eyes back. You can look in the distance, and you can look straight in front of you. And you really want kind of like a soft gaze. So it's not a really focused, really soft gaze ahead. You want to notice the peripheral vision, right? So you're not just looking ahead, but you're opening your eyes to looking at the side. Is there a cup? Is there a wall? What is there? Just notice the different colors. Just take the time to kind of open your perspective. We'll take a few breaths here. And now, still keeping with that soft gaze, what you can do, now the ones who have glasses, you really need to take these off. What we're gonna do is take our thumbs, the nice padded part of our thumbs, and we're gonna bring them right underneath our eyebrows, right? Here's quite a sensitive area. And what we'll do is just press down gently here and take a few big deep breaths. And it's normal if your breath shortens. Normally it's quite sensitive. You can even do little circles if you want. And then we'll start pinching our eyebrows. You can even bring your index from your forehead, top of your forehead, all the way down to pinch your eyebrows. We're gonna make funny faces, it doesn't matter. It just really feels good to do this. And it'll go all the way across our eyebrow. You can close your eyes if it feels more comfortable, just massaging that. Don't forget to breathe. Now we're gonna use the pads of our fingers and just go underneath the eyes, right on the bone, and just start massaging that gently. And then once we get to our temples, if this area is very sensitive for you, you can just start moving in circles with the pads of your fingers. If not, you can, if you like a little bit more dig, you can actually use your knuckles, right? And you can actually dig into that temple area. This normally feels really good when you have a headache or something like that. You carry a lot of tension. This muscle actually goes all the way on top of your ear, all the way to the back of your skull. So what we're gonna do is actually move that your hands backwards all the way over to the ear. And once you're here, you can even press in the belly of the muscle and take a few deep breaths here. And you can do little circles. Making your way all the way back to your head. So at the back of your head, you really want to use massage all the way back to the base of your skull. We have a tendency to hold a lot of tension, and this is the whole ocular segment, right? This is very much associated to emotions such as trust. Don't forget to breathe, even though I'm forgetting. Gently making your way back to the front. And if ever there's an area where you feel that is much more sensitive, you can always take a little bit more time there. Don't hesitate. This is your body. I'm just kind of like guiding you through this exercise that you could reuse anytime. So once you've made your way back to the front of your face, from the temples, you go underneath the jawline, and here we're going to start working our mandibulars, which is the jaw muscles. Here, I'm not sure if this happened to you, but sometimes you wake up and you have like clenched jaw, right? It's really, really tense. So you can again use your knuckles and dig in, and you can kind of like claw it down, and you really you can kind of like claw it down, and you can make sounds. Really feels good to do this normally. Kind of bringing it down. And again, what you can do is find the belly of the muscle, so the part where it's the most meaty, which could be like the middle here, and you can just press in your knuckles and breathe. And make your way down. And you can gently make your way through. You can change the posture of your hands, and you can start pinching near your jaw, near your, what's this called in English? I forgot. I have it in French, which is quite useless right now.
Chin.
Thank you. So your chin, kind of massage this area. Keep breathing. So we have a tendency to hold a lot of tension in our faces, right? And then for the last exercise, a really good one is the back of your neck. So what we're going to do again, we were at the back of the base of the skull. We're going to kind of do like a pinching thing going on. I'll try to show you, but since I have hair, it might not be easy. Like this, and we're going to be just pinching like this. And just gently pinching along the spine. And don't forget to breathe here. Help release any tension. And if you want, you can even work your way to your shoulders by pinching your shoulders, kind of like this, like a duck motion. Right. Once you're done, I invite you to kind of like close your eyes and just take a few minutes to just notice how it feels. How does your body feel now that you've kind of loosened things up around your head, around your eyes? What do you notice? How are your thoughts? Are there any? Just take a few seconds to just check in with yourself.
Much more relaxed.
Yeah.
And when I was trying this one, I think I would feel sleepy if someone else would have been doing that.
Yeah. The parasympathetic nervous system is very much engaged when you start wanting to go to sleep. That means you're really slowing down and calming down. That's great. Anyone else notice anything?
I tend to forget to breathe.
Yeah. Isn't that annoying? Yeah, that's a very frequent tendency, and there's many reasons to it. But oftentimes when we feel pain, we stop breathing, right? It's like a, you know, and you have to remind yourself to breathe through that pain in order to allow it to circulate, right? In order to allow it to let go. Because if not, what happens is that it just stays there. And that tension doesn't actually release. Because the breath is, you inhale new energy and you exhale release, right? That's kind of how it works in the body. And if you don't breathe through it, you actually keep it. So that's why you have to continuously remind yourself to breathe. Interesting observation. Anyone else? How do you guys feel? I see heads. That means good. Awesome. Are these exercises that you think that you'll be able to reuse? Yeah, cool. I have Isaac thumbs up. I have head nods. Awesome. Awesome. So this wasn't this was a well-spent hour, is it? Wonderful. I'm happy to see your, I was gonna say here, but I see your head nods. I'm quite happy for that. Yeah. I really appreciate you for coming. I think I have 1 minute left. I really would like you to take the time to appreciate yourself as well, for taking the time for showing up today, and for taking this moment for your self-care and for your well-being. It is something that we have a tendency to forget, like we forget to breathe, we forget to take care of ourselves. And in these times, it's really, really important to take the time to take care of ourselves. And it could be through scheduling moments of me time. It could be scheduling moments of breath, making sure that you block out a part of your day to really focus on yourself. I know it's difficult. Sometimes people have kids and they're running around everywhere, but being able to find those moments of peace are really essential for your day. Because if you're good, everyone else around you is. If you're not, then everyone else around is gonna get the pain of it. That's normally how it works. So I appreciate everyone for showing up. Thank you again. And if you have any other questions or comments, don't hesitate to contact me directly. Really, thank you for showing up.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you. I'll be sending you, for those
Thanks,
who
Sarah.
aren't at Palo. Thank you. I'll be sending out the exercises for you and some links, maybe to some videos, to be able to guide you through the different exercises. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Sarah. That was great. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy for you.
Yeah, really good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.